Good morning. I hope your morning is going amazing. We are here to talk about how I made dieting easy. And this is going to be take 2 of this video because the internet cut out during the first one. So we are going to try this again. If we have not met before, my name is Tanessa Shears. I'm a weight loss coach for women. My job is to deliver you the tips, strategies, and tools that are going to make this journey you're on to better yourself and your body and your health easy. I mean, there's so much information out there. So my job is to distill it down for you. So what we're talking about today is all about how I made dieting easy. And I mean, I have struggled in the past, my clients have struggled in the past, and I have, become obsessed with health and fitness and nutrition and finding a way to make, weight loss and feeling good in your body a permanent solution, something that is going to stick, something that is not going to be a struggle for the rest of your life. I mean, imagine, what would it be like to never have to worry about your weight anymore, to never have to worry about walking by a mirror and feeling uncomfortable. I mean, imagine what that could be like for you. Imagine what other things you could focus your energy on if you didn't have to think all the time about, how you felt in your body and what you had to eat all the time. So I'm sharing with you what works for me and what works for my clients. I'm really glad to have you here. So I'm just going to recap really quickly what we did in the other video because that one cut out. But what we were talking about is what I released in my newsletter that goes out to almost 1,000 women every Monday. We were talking about why you should not make your diet into a villain. So often when, we decide to lose weight or gain muscle or just feel better in our skin, we choose a weight we think is going to get us there that we're going to enjoy the most. So we pick a diet plan to go on and we choose, paleo or vegetarian or whole food or keto or all raw. There's so many choices out there that you could choose, right? And what we instantly do, and we don't realize it, but we set ourselves up as, a hero in the story, and the diet is the villain. It is something that is blocking us from experiencing pleasure and joy on this journey, all right? So here's what happens, and if you're scratching your head right now going, what do you mean the diet is the villain? That doesn't make any sense. I will show you why. Because when we decide to go on a diet, each plan that you want to follow, whether that's just eating clean or whatever, it has a set of protocols and rules that are specific to each plan. So if you were going to, go on a clean eating diet, you're not going to be eating things that maybe come in packages or processed or high in sugar or high in saturated fat. So you're going to be looking at that kind of stuff. So with these guidelines in place, we set out on our journey and we usually see success right off the bat because anytime you start cutting out all the processed garbage from our diet, obviously, our bodies are happy. We, shed some of that extra bloat and that weight we hold on to. But then, as we follow along, what our body starts to realize is that by following a set of protocols and rules, we've essentially eliminated our ability and our regular overeating. And I know I suffer from this, and so many of my clients suffer from this. A lot of the times, when we gain the weight, it's because we're overeating to manage our emotions. And this may not be for you and it may not be for everyone, but a lot of the times when people are struggling with excess weight, it's because of their overeating that is helping to manage their emotions. So when we choose one of these diet plans to go on, what happens is the rules and protocols of the diet prevent us from overeating. Then what starts happening is we start experiencing feelings of deprivation, boredom, frustration, fear of missing out, anger. So I want you to think about that 4 to 5 day, maybe it's a week for you, point into eating a different way. And you start to feel really uncomfortable because maybe, you're not able to enjoy a glass of wine at the end of every night. You're starting to feel those feelings of boredom and anger and maybe frustration, and it's not as easy anymore. And all of a sudden, your brain has started to associate these negative feelings with being on a diet. But I have a reality check for you. The diet is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. A diet is simply a procedure of how it thinks you should eat. Right? It's pretty straightforward. The diet is not causing these negative feelings. Do you want to know what it is? When you change the way you eat, you remove the overeating. When you stop using food to manage your emotions, guess what bubbles up to the surface? all of that garbage that you were pushing down with food. So you stop overeating, we stop using Oreos and wine to deal with the loneliness or the sadness or the anger we have in our lives or the stress. We're dealing with stress at work. We come home, have a glass of wine. We take that away. Now you're dealing with the stress, because here's what happens when you go on a diet. You experience cravings at the beginning, and you maybe experience withdrawals from sugars, or, if you're cutting out gluten or whatever it may be, you experience the withdrawals. And you also experience all these emotions that come up. But guess what? When you're on week 2 of that diet, week 3 of that diet, week 4 of that diet, guess what happens? The cravings go away. The withdrawal goes away. But you know what doesn't go away? The emotions that you're now dealing with. And what a diet does is it reveals the reason why you have excess weight on you in the first place. So if you found, for the last 5 years, you've been dealing with a really stressful situation at home or with work, and you come home to a glass of wine and a bag of chips. Maybe you dive into a box of cookies and you are fog eating, and all of a sudden you're at the end of a box of cookies. All of this over time is a way of dulling the emotions. And we know that when we're experiencing something stressful and we want to eat, if you're like me and you turn to overeating as a way to manage your emotions, it dulls that sensation so we don't have to experience that discomfort. But now, when you take away your overeating and you're left to experience that discomfort, so many of us don't know how to deal with that emotion, and it is an ugly feeling that comes up. I mean, if you are in a situation where, you're finally making positive changes for yourself, and then all of a sudden all you're feeling is like anger and deprivation, and you're feeling like, restricted. The diet is not making you feel restricted. It's the fact that you're not overeating to deal with your emotions anymore. So what we need to do is change our mentality about diets. Diets are simply, like I said, a basic set of rules for you to follow in order to get to your goal. What we need to learn how to do is to manage what to do when I feel so frustrated. All I want to do is have a bag of chips. I am so lonely at the end of my day. And I just want to eat because it gives me something to do. I'm bored. If that is you, here's what I'd like to offer you. Those feelings are really uncomfortable. And I got to ask you, when is the last time you sat in those feelings? You just let them be. You let yourself feel lonely or anxious. And I don't mean just like sit there like, I'm anxious. I mean like, what does it feel like to be anxious? I mean, if you've heard my story, I suffer from anxiety, and I really badly in the past, not so much anymore because I've learned how to manage it. But like, if you're dealing with, say, anxiety, and this can be any emotion, what does it actually feel like to be anxious? Where do you feel it? What does it feel like when you're breathing? Or what does your chest feel like? Do you get tension through your jaws? Like, soak that emotion in and just let yourself feel it instead of turning to food. I have to ask you a question. What is so scary about feeling an emotion? What is it that is so terrifying about feeling lonely or angry or bored or stressed out that you are willing to walk past a mirror every day and feel uncomfortable? You are swapping out one uncomfortable for the other. So, the best thing I can tell you is learn to be present with that discomfort. And, if that's really, really not something that sounds good, give yourself a goal. 1 minute. The next time you find yourself feeling bored or deprived because, you think it's the diet causing these feelings, it's not, such you're not overeating. I just want you to be present with it. Just like, what does this feel like? And I want you to tolerate it for 1 minute. You can use a timer on your phone, you can use a timer on the computer, tolerate it for 1 minute. And don't just resist it. Be like, okay, don't feel this, don't feel this. I really want you to let it in, let it fill you up. This is the weirdest thing to do the first time, and trust me when I say it works. And then, at the end of 1 minute, make your decision. And you know what? You might choose to still overeat, but this is a practice. Then the next time, I want you to do it for 2 minutes. And the next time, I want you to do it for 3 minutes. And I want you to expand it, because here's the secret. Do you want to know how long it takes a feeling to come and go when you don't give into it and you don't resist it? So meaning you don't eat, but you don't sit there saying like, holding on to your chair, being like, don't get up. I'll eat if I get up. Like, don't resist it. Just allow it in. Feelings pass in 10 to 12 minutes. And I have done this so many times. I have just sat there and let that feeling pass. And then, do you know how dang good it feels to be on the other end of that and have, realize that you didn't give in to some feeling that I was so afraid of feeling? Try it. I cannot tell you how well it works. So that is my first tip on dealing with that. What I would also not recommend doing is, you'll hear a lot of times, just get up and go for a walk, or, drink some water. These are good, but they are distractions. And while a distraction, yes, might help you willpower your way through this craving, what it does not do is teach you how to manage the issue in the first place. When you stop overeating, it reveals the reason probably why we're overweight in the first place, the emotion that we didn't want to deal with, so we turned to food. So yes, going for a walk and grabbing water is great, but it doesn't get you to deal with the underlying issue. So my challenge for you is to just feel whatever it is you're afraid of feeling. An emotion cannot hurt you. It is just a vibration in your body caused by what sentences are going on up here. So I want this for you. Don't be afraid to feel whatever is coming up for you when you take overeating out of your life. Because it's not the diet that is causing all these feelings of like, I'm deprived, I can't have cookies. It's not that. I promise you it's not. So that's my challenge for you this week. And the last thing I wanted to say before we're going here is I want to encourage you to change the mentality that you have about diets. When I say diet, a lot of the times we think of temporary rules that are going to cause me to feel restricted that I will go off when I get to my goal. Not going to work, because temporary means temporary success, means you're going to probably gain the weight back. You already are planning on feeling restricted if you know that you're going to come off. So if you know that the diet you choose is something you can't hold on to long term or maintain, then you know that the rules that are put in place are too strict. So choose something that is sustainable. So what I mean by changing that diet mentality is diets are not something we go on and off. A diet is a set of foundational principles by which you live your life and you eat according to. Does that make sense? So I'm going to give you an example of what I consider my diet. And this is not a diet, I'm going to lose weight and go off it next week. This is the diet that I live by on a regular basis. I eat the majority of my carbohydrates in the morning. I eat massive amounts of vegetables at lunch and dinner. And I only have fruit in the morning. I don't eat starchy carbs like bread and pasta Sunday through Friday. I have at least 30 to 40 grams of protein at each meal. My snacks are high fat. I eat cheese. I eat almonds. I eat cashews. I eat whole eggs. This is how I work my meal. I eat lots of avocados. My diet is a high fat, high protein, high vegetable diet. I usually cut most of my carbohydrates out by 4 p.m. And I mean, this is my set of conditions that I give myself. Because guess what? I feel healthy. My skin looks clear. My hair is soft. I feel alive. I don't miss my workouts. I'm not bloated. I'm able to easily maintain my weight. I don't get energy crashes throughout the day. I can go 7 hours without realizing that I haven't eaten because my body is fat adapted. Now that's a whole nother video we can go into. But this works for me. And it is a set of rules that make up my diet. So my diet is not the villain. There is no villain in this situation. My diet is a tool to help me live the life I want to live in the body I want to be in. So that's my challenge for you. What is yours? Are you vegetarian? Are you paleo? Are you keto? Do you eat clean? Do you have a bit more of a balance? Do you like carbohydrates? Does your body not like carbohydrates? It's all about finding what works for you and experimenting and constantly changing. And if something doesn't work or you wake up feeling bloated, maybe that food wasn't the choice for you. So it's about having a different diet mentality, that these are long-term lifestyle changes. So your 2 pieces of homework for today, if you're sticking with me. Number 1, when you're on your next, I'm going to use that word diet loosely, and those feelings start to come up, It is not the diet that is causing those negative feelings. It is your emotions that are coming up that you aren't ready to experience. Goal number 1, I want you to just practice being uncomfortable. It's okay. It's okay. I promise you, it's just a feeling. Practice being uncomfortable. And number 2, I want you to take some time today and write out a small list of the food rules that you live by that make you feel amazing. And if you're really feeling bold today, I want you to comment them below this video, and I'll share some of mine after I jump off of here. I'll do some extra ones in here, but I love to hear them from you. If you want to read a bit more in detail about this whole idea of how we set the diet up as a villain, I wrote a blog which I sent out this morning. I'll comment it below after this video. It's TanessaShears.com/diet-villain. Again, I'll leave the comment below. But I loved having you here today. Let's talk about this. What are you struggling with? Is it the overeating that's causing the negative emotions? And what are the rules that are in place that help you feel amazing every day? Let's talk next week, you guys. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you next time.